Hey there, Wargamers, Justin here on Painter, and today we're going to talk about my experience at the grinder tables at Adepticon. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in today. If you are new here, make sure you alpha strike that like, subscribe button. Let's channel all that firepower that you would be focusing into an enemy mech into helping the channel grow. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for coming in and supporting what I do as well. That said, today I want to talk about my experience playing at the grinder tables at Adepticon. And I played only one game, but it was a pretty cool experience. So let me break it down for you for what I did. So first of all, I know a couple of the demo agents there at Adepticon. Met them last year, and this year we gave them some terrain last year. This year we got commissioned to 3D print some terrain for them for their tournaments and their tables. So we did some hills and stuff like that for them. We sent them some MDF terrain, and I met with Justin, whose last name I can't remember, but I met him at the con 2 years in a row now. So excited about Battletech, so excited about minis and terrain and so forth. I met him again, and I said, hey, Justin, here's a thing I want to do. I'm not going to have a lot of time, but I want to play at the grinder tables. And I said, I spent a bunch of time last year painting, and I was able to finally get into the Camo Specs Online artist team. Like, I made it through. And I said, I brought the first 2 minis that got accepted and got published on their website. I brought them with me to the con. What I would love for you to do is to get me record sheets, set me down at a table with the grinder, and let me use that mech and be like, hey guys, CSO artist, CSO model, blow it up, right? That's what I wanted to do. He goes, okay. And he walks off. He comes back like an hour or 2 later or something. Got me mech sheets. He got me a Savage Wolf sheet, and he got me 2 Tundra Wolf sheets. Those were the 2 minis I had with me that I had got published. While I think I was there, right after I got back, my Storm Wolf Prime from Wolf's Dragoons got published. It was one of my entries, which was pretty cool. I didn't have that one with me, though. I only got to play with one of them, and I picked the Savage Wolf because it was my first one. So when I finally got to go to the grinder, I went over there and, excuse me, let me back up. There's another piece of the story. So Justin brings me, he brings me these tags. Get out of the way, stupid cable. And he says, Justin, put these on your thing, and when you sit down to play, tell everyone there that you're an ace, right? And you're ready to, like, blow some stuff up, right? So I go to play, and I find out that these you get these when a mech dies, and every time you upgrade, you get one. So he was trolling me a little bit, except for the black one. You get that one for like doing a cool thing, an achievement. So basically, what he was having me do was say I'm an ace, and to go in there and sit down and say that, and they would laugh because I'm good at getting my mech blowed up, right? Which, my mech didn't get blowed up, which is good, but I thought that was a good piece of the puzzle here to explain kind of what happened. So he gave me those tags, and, told me, to say the ace thing when I got to sit down and play, and I finally did get to get over there. Sorry, my throat still got a cold. If you've watched any of my videos recently, you heard me talk about the, coming back from the con with a cold. But he had me head over to play when I had time. I head over to play, and I've got my mechs with me. I go up to one of the demo agents, and I'm like, hey, here's what's going on. I got these sheets from Justin. I'm a CSO artist. I brought my minis that were published recently. I would like to play. Would this be okay? They were cool with it. And then, let me see if I got that thing laying here. It's kind of pertinent. There we go. Yeah, cool. Got it. Whoops. We're back. I was like, hey, yada yada, play. They set me up, and as I'm walking through and they're trying to find me a table, I said, here's the deal. I actually don't know much about Classic. I know a little bit, and I said, so I really, for the thing I want to do, I need you to put me on a table that you think is like chill people, because like if I'm going to use this term, some of you might be offended, but the grognards. I don't say that to be mean. It's just kind of funny. If I'm at a table with people who are super hardcore, basically, they may not have fun with me because I'm very bantery, very trolly, in a fun way, in my opinion, and I don't know the rules very well. And for me, the rules are secondary to the experience, so me talking crap and having a fun time are what's important. I'm forging a story. And that leads me to the story with these 2 individuals that I played with, and why it was so utterly fun. So we get to the table, they set me down, I get to deploy, I told everyone at the table what the deal was. I'm like, hey, I'm a CSO artist. Here's my Savage Wolf I painted that got published. I'm dropping them in right here. And as I drop them down, the demo agent grabs this and he puts this and a black tag on the table. And then he says, let me show it to you. He puts this and a black tag on the table and he says, whoever kills this mech gets a prize. There's a bounty on this mech. So he put a bounty on my mech. So if you kill it, you get a good thing. And I wasn't sure what my skill should be because the guy printed me a sheet off. But normally you have a skill when you go to the grinder. You start with a certain mech with it's like a light mech with a really good skill in pilot or gunner skill and pilot skill. And as you upgrade mechs, your skills go the other direction. So your mechs get better, your skills get worse. I was an anomaly where they put me in a Dark Age era clan tech skill 3 pilots or gunnery skill 3 pilot skill 3. That's pretty brutal. And I don't have my mech sheet. I gave it away. I'll explain that in a moment too. But I had 2 ATM 9s, 2 rear-facing ATM 3s, and 2 ER PPCs, and then I think a couple of small lasers or something. But I didn't know because the ATMs have 3 different firing modes with missiles. They had like extended range, standard, and high explosive. The high explosive is shorter range bands, but it did for every hit you got, it was like triple damage, which is insanity, or something like that. They're explaining, and then standard I think was 2 damage, and then extended range was like 1 damage because it was long range. The versatility was really good, and it makes sense for the way ATMs work. Closer you are, the more damage you do. I get it. So I sit down to play. They put the bounty on my mech, and I look at the table. I explain what's going on. I was like, okay, guys, I need a wingman. Who's going to be my wingman? And when Justin brought me the sheet, he gave me a black tag. So he gave me one like this. And that's for doing something cool, heroic, and achievement. So probably like, if you got like a killing blow with like a DFA or something, they'd probably give you a black tag for that. Because that's a crazy thing to do, right? So it has to be something epic. So he gave me one to give to someone. And because they put a bounty on my mech, instead of giving another black tag to the person who kills it, I put that on the table. I was like, you don't get the Steiner thing, but you will get an honor tag, the black one, if you support me. You give up the one prize, but you be my wingman. And this guy, I think his name was Jeremy. I doubt he's watching this. I'll try and put a photo up of him. I got a cool photo with him. I think the other guy's name was James. No, sorry. I got this. I think James was my wingman. I think Jeremy was the one I was fighting because I wrote it on here. James, wingman, Jeremy was the one I was fighting. The photo with Jeremy is not very good because I look like an idiot. The one with James, I look like also an idiot, but a fun idiot. So we sat down, and James was like, I got your back. And I was like, oh, shit. Okay. He's right near me. He was in a Jaeger mech with like rack 5s or something like that. Rotary autocannons, which I don't know how they work in Classic. But they're absolutely devastating. Holy shit, were they devastating. So he agrees to be my wingman. He is like 6 hexes away from where I spawn in. And I was like, for sure, when I think I moved first. I was like, for sure, he's going to walk up and shoot me in the back with these rack 5s, and I'm dead. Or I'm going to be crippled pretty bad. And then Joe, one of the guys from Death Resigns, he spawns in a hunchback. I was like, Joe, we're friends. Don't fight me. Fight those other guys. Joe runs straight at my Savage Wolf with his hunchback, probably the troll. Also because he probably wanted to die so he could upgrade mechs. Not a good idea. Because at 6 hexes or less away against the Savage Wolf with ATMs, Hunchback's not going to have a good day. Now that I know how ATMs work, I didn't even get to shoot at Joe, though. So Joe spawns in. He comes up to my mech, and he wants to, AC-20 me or whatever. Hopefully, he's probably hoping to get the headshot, really. My wingman, I kept calling him Mav or Maverick. I referred to myself as Iceman. Maverick's cooler, but I gave him the title of Maverick because, he opted to be the cool guy. So he runs over with the Jaeger mech, gets behind Joe's hunchback, absolutely cores him out. So in game, what this looked like was like Joe's hunchback did like this, and just it literally split him in half. It was absolutely devastating. And Joe was like, "Whoop," and I was like, "No reason for me to shoot at you." He literally destroyed your whole mech. It was absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Then the guy that I ended up fighting, very closely, because there's a couple other dudes on the table, but they were so far away that they weren't a threat to me, and I wasn't going to be able to get to them, especially with the hills. It was just not practical. None of our engagement was going to happen. So it ended up being with Jeremy. And Jeremy, he ends up dying. I think he might have got shot by Mav. James, I think was his name. Or Jason. It might have been Jason. Jason James. If you're in my comment section, tell me. Because it was a J. You guys were both Jason. Now I'm thinking it was Jason. I should have wrote your name down. I think I wrote his name on the back of one of my mech sheets, and I don't know where the mech sheet's at. Because it was on the Savage Wolf, not Savage Wolf, the Tundra Wolf sheet. Anyways, so Jason, I think it was. I think he also killed Jeremy, his other mech. I forget what he started in. But that said, when Jeremy spawned back in, he was in a Belisarius something. It looked like a Clan Hell's Horse's horse mech. And I was giving him some shit, trolling. So what I was doing was looking at stats. I'm like, this is cheating. How do you have this? Blah, blah, blah. It's a quad mech. And the quad has so much HP. And then he had like ATM 9s or something. And I'm like, ATM 12s, maybe. It was absolutely stupid. Like, his mech was more stupid than mine. And I was like, what is going on? So he spawns in. And we're very close. And I was like, hey, honor duel. I'll fight you. You know, I won't shoot you in the back. I'll fight you. And he's like, oh, you want to go toe to toe? I was like, yeah, let's go. We'll go point blank. I'll shoot you. Let's go. And then someone on the table was like, Zalbriggan or something. I'm probably butchering that, but one of you know, Battletech fans will correct me if I pronounce it wrong, or challenge me to some kind of honor duel or something. Trial of ignorance, Justin. So anyway, we do that. We go, and I think I've got a couple photos here. We'll try and rotate them in. But we go point blank, toe to toe, and absolutely shred each other up pretty good, right? Just ATMs and whatever, and we're just bashing each other, but not too bad. Not too bad. Next turn rolls around, right? And I have to move first. And I position, and he's like, I don't know. You go where you think that, you know, it's going to be a good fit for you. I was like, all right, cool. You know, I'll go. Because I told him on the previous turn, I was like, I won't shoot you in the back. You know, I got you. We'll be cool. This dude took his little pony mech. He ran behind me and shot me in the butt. Now, I realized that I had rear-facing ATMs, but no one explained to me how rear fire works, so I had shot them forward at him the last turn, and then I was like, hey, I shot him last turn. I wasn't supposed to be able to shoot them at you because they're rear-facing. Let's just say that was this turn, and we'll skip it. You know, I won't shoot anything. And then the Jason, I think he was kind of the TO of the table, also my wingman. He's like, that seems fair. I was like, cool, you know, that seems reasonable. I have nothing to shoot. So dude unloads on me with these ATMs at like 1 hex away, point blank basically, and just brrrr. I survive, and the way the damage went, I lost my left arm, so PPC's gone. Still have my ATMs, but my arm's gone. So 1 PPC left, and my leg internal, 2 pips left. Literally almost blew my left side completely off, basically. I was like, oh shit. Next turn, he has to move first, and this is where it gets sweet, just so sweet. He has to move first. He backs up a hill, so I probably can't quite get behind him. I move forward, and I was like, I don't know these rules very well, but I know facing's important. And I was like, if I put my mech this way, I can torso twist that way, right? And they were like, yeah. I was like, so if I position this way, based on arc of fire, your to roll on to hit is on my right side because my left side's facing away. And they're like, yeah, because I positioned it to twist so my left feet were facing the other side of the table. My right foot was closest to him. And they're like, yeah, that's how that works. So I was like, cool. I could torso twist and fire you. And I was like, if I torso twist to shoot him, my rear's not facing that way, right? Because my foot's that way, but my rear's this way. And if I torso twist, I was thinking like it does like that. And they're like, no. Torso twist is just arc of fire, not being hit. And I was like, cool. I don't want to get my rear to the other half of the table. So I positioned that damaged side away. I turned to fire, and I understand the reason why you would shoot with like an AC-20 or a PPC or large laser. Big burst, single location damage. I understand you would want to shoot with that first to try and strip armor, and then use your bulk single shot stuff like your SRMs, your machine guns, your small lasers, whatever. The stuff that could go in and have multiple chances to crit. I understand why you would do that. So, that being said, I have 1 ER PPC left. I got my 2 ATM-6s. I'm ready to hammer them. I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna hit him hard. I'm gonna hit him with these ATMs with the high explosive rounds, and this is gonna be sick. This is gonna be sick. I'm so pumped, you know. So he's like, all right, you know, it's your turn. They flip the card, and it's my turn to fire. I roll, I do whatever I'm doing, and when it comes for the hit location, I'm like, oh, and I've got these dice, my dice that Michael Siriavelli gave me from Republic of the Sphere. I'm literally using Republic of the Sphere dice with a Steel Wolf, Savage Wolf, which seems blasphemous in the Dark Age that I'm using those with the Steel Wolf. But I was. If they had Steel Wolf dice, I'd buy those too. But I go and I'm like, all right, location, and I'm like, I'm gonna roll boxcars, double 12, whatever, or double 6, and I went, whoo, and the dice go, do. I see the 6 and the other 6, and I'm like, what? Hit the 12. Hit the 12 for location. And the dude goes, so you hit me with a ER PPC. That's 15 damage, right? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I'm dead. And I hit him in the head with ER PPC. I didn't even get to shoot the ATMs. And I was like, what? This mech that's barely hurt, I just killed it. I'm getting all hype and excited because I had challenged him to an honor duel, clanner-wise, and the other people weren't shooting me. And he chose to shoot me in the back. And I turn around after he annihilates my left side of the mech, and I go, pow, headshot, which apparently for clan stuff, you would try not to kill the pilot, I'm told. And he shot me in the back and broke the rules of engagement for an honor-bound duel. And then I called a headshot basically by saying I was going to roll 12s. And then I rolled a 12 and hit him in the head. It was absolute insanity. And it felt very apropos for some Hell's Horses clanner who had brought dishonor upon themselves to go out in a shining, blazing blue ball of death after they had broken the rules, the Zellbriggen rules. So that said, because as this was going on, the other two players, so I was playing with Joe and Neil from DRD. They were on the other side of the table at this point. There were two other gentlemen who were playing, and they didn't really get to engage with us. And, you know, Mav, Jason, his guns at one point, he was trying to help me with this Belisarius, if I'm saying it right, the little horsey thing. I left him out of the story because his guns freaking jammed at one point, and it was like, they jammed, and I think the next turn, he failed and didn't unjam them, and I was like, I need help! And then I headshot the mech. Poof, you know, so that happened. But I grabbed the black tag and the blue dog tags, the bounty, and I was like, hey, bud, you get this. I was like, no, we have 30 minutes left before they close the grinder. Anyone else who comes to the table is not going to have any idea what we're doing. And you've literally went through 2 mechs with me, and we had the headshot and the duel and the banter. I was like, you earned this. And then I gave the black tag to Mav. Here's where the story gets even more fun and didn't get to go to its climax, but got a little bit more fun. Jeremy, the guy I just had the duel with, who I shot in the face with my PPC, he goes and gets his next mech. I also got a prize. I got a salvage box because I killed a mech, and I immediately came back and gave it to my wingman because I didn't need it. As I mentioned on stream, I've got plenty of plastic mechs, so I don't need the prize. I was there for the fun, and I thought, you know, if I give him this, it'll be a more fun experience because he'll remember, you know, that guy did this thing and gave me this box. So I gave it to him, and Jeremy comes back, and he loads in a Viper, right? And I was like, oh shit, all right, wingman Mav, Iceman here, Viper's on the table, we got him, we gotta have a 6. And like, now all of a sudden, we went from wingman to trio, and for any of you nerds who aren't to that level of nerd, you've probably already connected this, but Viper is also a call sign from freaking Top Gun. So when he loaded in the Viper, I was like, nah, you're with us. We got Maverick, Iceman, and Viper. We're going to run this table for the next half hour. And then he proceeded to, I think, get blasted pretty bad. And then we didn't have any shots, and then they called it. So it was pretty much over. But I got a really cool photo with Jason. I'm pretty sure it's his name. That was the TO. It was my wingman. It was a lot of fun hanging out with those guys. Last year at the Grinder, I didn't get to play long. Because of how long we were at the booth for running our shop. And then after dinner, like by the time I got to the Grinder, there was not much time left. It was not much different this time, but I wanted to make a point to get there. I wanted to go back and play with my Tundra Wolf, but we didn't have time. I had a lot of business meetings and stuff that I had tried to set up with connections for the company, like a lot of schmoozing and face-to-face interactions for DRD. So this was my only experience at Adepticon, and it was absolutely fabulous. So the other thing that I did, which was cool, and I'll try and throw up a photo of Jeremy here. One of the things I like to do is I will immortalize people, or immortalize my experience, and I hadn't talked about this yet. This was my sheet from 2022, and I like to troll. So my first mech was a Locust, and I named him Supreme Machine, and when he got killed, I was like, rip.
And then my next mech was an archer, and I called him King Crimson because I think he was a red model, and I got a kill, so I got a stamp. And then I skipped the green, the yellow, the orange because I came in with this, and I was put in my elite here, and this was my Savage Wolf, and I named it. And here's the thing that's really cool. Jeremy, that's his name, right? And I asked him to name the mech, or what his pilot name would be, and I believe he said his last name was Voight. And I was like, all right, this is Voight. That's your blood name, right? This is the name of the mech that you were fighting today, because I had to write it. I wanted to write it down. I got a kill with it, so I got my stamp. And then I was like, all right, cool. What would your call sign be? And he's like, Flint. And I put his name as parentheses. So we got Voight, or Jeremy Voight, or Jeremy Flint Voight, something like that. I wrote it down to immortalize him. It's really cool. And then I had wrote my name, Justin Cloud Hall, on my mech sheet, because that's my name in the canon universe. For anyone who's heard me ramble about it, canon character, I wrote that on that. Granted, I'm not a Steel Wolf in the story, but it was cool. And I gave him my sheet and took some photos, which was really cool. And if everything goes well, I will try and bring this back with me to Adepticon 2024, and maybe we'll try and do something trolly there as well, because I think that will be cool. But here's the photo rolled in of Mr. Jeremy, and my goofy face, and him hopefully having had a good time. And I think that is an epic story and a very fun one, and that is the kind of stuff that is the kind of stuff that I like to do on the table. Yes, I like to win. Everyone likes to win. How you win's important. And my mech didn't die. But had it died, it would have been glorious and funny. I don't particularly enjoy playing where someone's so hardcore that we can't laugh. Like, that's not fun for me. Being able to bullshit, have a good time, be in Pretzel's kind of attitude, even if we're both trying to win, being able to set aside the hyper-competitive and just have that fun moment, that's important, and that's what I like. So, did I know the rules very well for Classic? No. Did I know a little bit to get them with, like, trying to do the positioning? Sure, because I'd seen someone else do it. Did I lose track of heat or keep track of my missile ammo? Not particularly well. We only played for a handful of turns, and usually you die fast enough that that stuff doesn't come up very often. No one was worried about being pedantic. They were having a good time laughing. I was saying dumb stuff. We're all having a good time and bantering, and that's what was important. So sometimes you can set aside some of the pedantic nature of wargaming in favor of having a good experience and a good story to tell, and I think this one was an awesome one. That said, folks, I think that's going to conclude our little talk session today from Adepticon. Hopefully I'll have some more stories like this in the future. If you enjoyed this, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and sound off in the comments below if you have a cool story of your own, or if you met me at Adepticon and didn't know who I was. That would have been cool. Hopefully I will see some of you at Nova. If you guys want to help support what I do, check out the links down below. You can pick up some Battletech stuff from Fortress Mission Games, sponsor of the channel. Pick up some terrain like I designed for the AO set, or some of our third-party minis that DRD also produces. I didn't make those, but we do sell them. You can support my day job by checking out Death Ray Designs, and if you want to pick up any paint, check out Monument Hobbies and Games. That said, folks, you guys know the drill. If I don't get off here, I'll continue to ramble, and I've rambled long enough. As always, keep rolling those dice, keep rolling those, keep rolling those dice and roll those models. Keep rolling those dice, keep painting your models, and I will catch you guys next time.